Hello and welcome to our wrap-up of the 2014 AFL fixture as we digest the winners and losers. Joining me today is Rowan Connolly. Welcome, Rowan.
Spitzy, good to be here.
Such a big day on the AFL calendar now as we look at next year's fixture, of course. Quick wrap-up of the teams that have done well and others that are in big trouble for next season.
Well, few surprises. Look, no doubt the toughest draw has been dealt to Hawthorn, which is fair enough. They're the premier. They've got a really tough ask. They've got 3 6-day breaks in a row. They play 3 other teams in this year's top 4 twice. So, you know, they're the proven champion. They're going to have to acquit themselves very well again. In terms of who's fared best, I don't think there's much doubt the Western Bulldogs have probably got the best draw of anyone. They're the only team in the competition that doesn't play a member of this year's top 6 twice. So that's a real plus for them. Their road trips are fairly manageable and they've got no consecutive 6-day breaks. And that consecutive 6-day break factor can't be underestimated. If you ask the clubs, that's probably close to the first thing they look at. They haven't got any consecutive breaks, so they've done well. I think Adelaide's done really well too for about, by my recollection, about the 3rd year in a row. Probably by virtue of having a disappointing season, they've got a softer draw. And I think the really significant one, given that they had a pretty strong season and finished in the finals, is Richmond. By my formula, Richmond has got the 4th best draw in the competition. The only finalists from this year they play twice is the Swans, and they've only got 1 trip to Perth, so no excuse for the Tigers not to make the 8 next year.
Just on that 6-day break factor. Now, you look at the draw quite forensically, and this is simply one ingredient in your formula for determining which club wins and which doesn't. Just take us through it briefly as to how you come to this equation where Hawthorn's 18th and, you know, Adelaide at number 3, for example. What are the factors that contribute to your weighting? Yeah, well, there are 4 main ones. Obviously, which sides you play twice is a big one. So basically, we just take the ladder in reverse order and add the points up. So the higher the score, the more difficult the draw. Home state games against an interstate team, I think that's fairly important. Road trips, allocating points, more points for longer road trips and fewer points for shorter road trips, and then the consecutive 6-day breaks. So as far as the 6-day breaks go, every side has them. I think the average is about 6 per team, but it's the consecutive 6-day breaks that really creep up on teams. And about half the competition don't have any consecutive 6-day breaks. Others, including Hawthorn, like I said, they've got a real tough road to hoe on that score. And you mentioned the Tigers. They came in at number 4, a really great result for a club that broke through and made the finals, and you know the real potential of the platform to go further next year? Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be looking at that and thinking, well, there's no excuses not for us to really give the top 4 a shake. Some other interesting ones. I think North Melbourne last year had, by my reckoning, the 2nd toughest draw, which was a pretty rough deal. I think they've been compensated this time. By my count, they've got the 8th best draw this year. Road trips are manageable. They don't play too many great teams twice, so they'll be happy with that. I think probably the hard luck story of this year is Brisbane. And it's interesting, isn't it? Brisbane's had all that trouble and annoyed the AFL. You're kind of wondering, was that a bit of payback? Players are leaving left, right and centre, and here they come. Were they 15th on your list? Yeah, well, the reason being, they only finished 12th on the ladder, but you have a look, they've got Freo twice, including Perth, obviously, Geelong twice, also Richmond twice, and North Melbourne, who I think most of us feel is going to be a pretty reasonable side next year. So they play all them twice, as well as the travel factor for them, which, coming from the northern states is reasonably significant. So, yeah, the Lions have got a few cards stacked against them in 2014, no doubt about that. And moving away from the season proper, there's actually significant change for the pre-season with the AFL scheduling 18 games in 18 days, and at this stage, no grand final for the pre-season competition. It's a bit unclear as to how they'll actually finish the lead into the season proper. It's quite different, isn't it? Well, it's different, and it seems all a bit up in the air to me. They'd want to be sorting it out reasonably soon. That concept of the All-Stars game, I'm a bit sceptical about that. I'm just not sure that the clubs certainly aren't in support of it. I'm not sure the players, despite what they've said, are that sort of fair dinkum about it. And I think the fans, fans are interested in going to see teams play, I think, far more so than, individuals in an all-star side. So it'll test people's patience, I think, the first couple of months of a season, because you've got that
sort of different pre-season arrangement, and then you've got a round one spread over 2 weeks without any real blockbuster games. So I can see us getting to the end of round one next year and everyone going, oh, we've got to look at the format again. But, look, in defence of the AFL, there's so many logistics and things to factor into the draw that it's a mind-bogglingly difficult task for them. So given all the impinging factors on the draw, I think they do okay. But yes, we're certainly not going to be short of games to watch next year on the football front, Spitzy. You'd want to be a real die-hard fan to get through it all.
So there you have it. The 2014 fixture is out in the public domain for you to digest. Log on to realfooty.com.au for the latest analysis and, of course, your chance to have your say. Thanks for coming in, Rowan.
Pleasure, Spitzy.